Good afternoon, guys. I'm Ryan here, Indiana Weather Online, as well as Indiana Storm Chasing Network. We have a severe warning in the state of Indiana for this cell that is moving out of the state into Kentucky and Ohio here. It's going to be for Switzerland, Ohio, and Dearborn counties here. It's going to be a severe warning in effect. This is going to be for quarter-size hail as well as 60-mile-per-hour winds. This was just issued by the National Weather Service here for our friends further south here. We do have another storm back off to the west here that is approaching Versailles, Milan area, Pleasant area. We'll watch that one as well. But the main focus and what the warning was prompted for is this cell right here moving to the east. It's already pretty much out of the state, so not much of a concern here. We have one tiny bit of concern down here by the town of Patriot, Gurley Corner. And if you're living across the border in Ohio here, places like Hamilton, Cincinnati, Independence, Florence, Delhi, Addystown, Norwood, Fort Thomas. Go ahead and zoom out here. Kind of giving you guys some perspective here. It looks like New Richmond, Amelia, Bethel, Goshen, Newtonsville, Marathon. You guys all within that severe warning just issued here by the NWS out of Wilmington. We'll watch the cell back here toward Versailles as well. Currently no warning on it, but there is a blue box which indicates there is a statement, and that statement is for 45-mile-per-hour winds as well as nickel-size hail, so it's a step below severe limits. So this is going to be, again, a severe warning in effect here for the eastern half of Dearborn, Ohio, as well as Switzerland counties here in the very far extreme portion of southeast Indiana. And again, this is moving in toward the Cincinnati area, Florence, Kentucky, Independence, Kentucky area. So if you're living across the border or have friends and family across the border, that is heading their way here. Tracking this in terms of the wind and stuff, there's not much here indicating that we have really strong winds occurring. This is a airport radar here, which the beam height is very close to the ground. So it does give us a little bit better view here, potential winds that are closer reaching the ground, mixing down. And as of right now, we're not seeing anything along the gust front that suggests severe wind is occurring. I'm going to pop out the inspector tool here. The most we're seeing up here by the Kentucky, Ohio, Indiana border is right around 30 miles an hour here. So as of right now, I'm not really seeing much here that indicates, hey, this is severe in terms of wind, but I will say the hail threat with this, go ahead and pop out the Wilmington radar here. Got a really decent size hail core on it, looks like. Let's go and pop out the hail tracker. And there you go. The brighter colors here tracking droplets, water droplets that are larger than typical raindrop size. So anything larger is going to show up in a color here. We're seeing that is a little bit delayed on the radar here, a few minutes old, but generally speaking, that is your hail core. Moving into the South Cincinnati area, as well as Florence, Kentucky, Independence area. But also notice the hail core we have back here just south of Versailles as well. I see a couple questions and comments in here about other parts of the state. Going back to the west, we do have another line here, a much weaker line from Columbus down to Seymour to Bedford. Got some thunder and lightning in it, but overall it does not look to be severe or anything close to severe at this time. The only concern in the state as of right now is the very far southeast corner. Again, counties included in that are going to be Dearborn, Ohio, and Switzerland counties. Otherwise, you are okay in the state today for severe weather. We're going to watch this line back here as well. It could develop and strengthen. It's a possibility. So if you're living out here like Madison, Salem areas, and again, same counties, Dearborn, Ripley, Ohio, Switzerland, Jefferson counties, you guys, I would say be on alert. Be alert. It's not a very high threat today. But if these do develop into stronger storms, they could pose a risk here. Also would not be shocked to see another warning issued for this cell right here. Don't be shocked to see a yellow box pop on your screen here for another warning. Christy in chat here says we had pea-sized hail about 10 minutes ago in Rising Sun. Thank you for that report, Christy. Rising Sun is right here on the border of Kentucky. And that's going to be because the cell did go right over you there. And the fact you're reporting pea size, you're on the southern edge of that hail core. Not surprising there. I think the hail will be a little bit larger off to your north. But you did get into the hail core there. Not surprising to see that report. Thank you, Christy, for that. I'm actually going to probably predict here we're going to have another warning for this cell coming momentarily. It's going to be right along Dillsboro, Friendship area. Nice hail core on this cell. Looking at the wind velocity, doesn't appear to be that strong of winds, but the hail tracker is lighting up here. I would expect there to be another yellow box flashing on your screen here momentarily. Or perhaps they're not going to. Let's let it run into the box that already exists here. But this is going to be in Ripley County right now, crossing over into Dearborn and Ohio counties momentarily. Again, that's going to be your hail tracker here, tracking right along the county line just south of Dillsboro on the Dearborn, Ohio county line. Places included Milton, Hartford, Dillsboro, Farmers Retreat, Cofield Corner. And again, Rising Sun. If you're watching from this area, be alert. Another storm moving in here. Potential for some larger hailstones. Not currently warned. I would expect there to be a warning issued anytime for that cell. But again, they may also just let it kind of run into the existing warning box here because it's not too far. So we'll see what they do. If you guys have questions in chat, feel free to drop those in there. I'll be live until this warning is over. We're always open to questions here at IWO. But for now, we're just going to let this loop. No rotation that I'm seeing on radar, so anything tornadic right now is not a concern. It should just be a hail threat. I'm not even seeing any wind threat with these storms. It's just going to be a larger hail threat. The risk today is much higher into Ohio as these cells develop, as they push northern Kentucky, southern Ohio. Circle the area here. These storms are developing. This general area has the best potential today. Minus the Indiana side here, more so Ohio, Kentucky, and parts of West Virginia have that highest concern today for severe weather. I just so happened to go warned here in the very far southeast corner of the state, and our policy here is to go live for any and all severe warnings or tornadic warnings in the state of Indiana. So that's why we're live. So the storm that prompted the warning is moved out into Kentucky and Ohio, again, Cincinnati, and any place around the metro area of Cincinnati. You guys have that concern for severe weather moving in. Looks to be a hail threat here. I don't see anything on the wind. We'll track the wind one more time here just to get a better idea, perhaps, if it's strengthened. And again, we're not really seeing too much in the way of wind. These are your wind velocities here. Green going toward the radar, red's going away from the radar. Inspector tool at the center of your screen there saying 20 or so mile per hour winds. Up here by the Ohio-Kentucky border, 30 or so mile per hour winds heading into Cincinnati downtown. So the wind with this doesn't appear to be overly strong. I do think it's going to be mainly a hail threat here as we're seeing these brighter pinks and purples. That's where the hail threat's going to be today. As far as the wind velocity on the second cell goes, back by Dillsboro, wouldn't be shocked if we have a couple 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts here moving into the Dillsboro area. In fact, it looks a little bit stronger than the one that's currently warned. And again, no warning on that cell at this time. It is moving into the exact same area that's currently warned, but still have a couple areas here it's going to hit. So Dillsboro here along Milton, Hartford, again, Ohio, and Dearborn County lines here in southeast Indiana. Lovett area, you should be okay. You're south of these storms currently. We'll wait to see what they do with the cell here. I do think there's potential for this to go warned. And again, the severe warning still in effect here for Dearborn, Ohio, and Switzerland counties, the east side of those counties. 60 mile per hour winds as well as quarter-size hail on that warning in effect for 34 more minutes, which puts us right around that 4:15 time frame, Eastern time. These storms are moving pretty fast today, moving east at right around 55 miles per hour, so highway speeds for your storm motion today. You are not going to have much time before these storms are on top of you. And I'm talking as if there's a large population involved. There really isn't today. The very far southeast corner here is the only people affected. Zooming back out for those of you tuning in, secondary line here is forming back toward Greensburg, Columbus, Seymour, Bedford areas. It does not currently look severe, but those do have potential to strengthen into severe storms. We're going to watch them closely. So if you live in the very far southeast corner here ahead of these storms, you guys will be on The only real concern here for severe weather today, and again, the main threats today: damaging winds, large hail. Anything tornadic is not expected. We have a lack of wind shear once again today. But of course, as we saw a couple days ago in the Princeton area, we can get some surprise spin-ups occur. So we're always going to watch it. But in terms of threats today, I doubt we're going to see anything tornadic. Yeah, Seymour, you're fine for now. Just some rain and some lightning moving into your area. This storm does not appear to be severe. But do stay inside, as the old saying goes, when thunder roars, go indoors. There is lightning with the storm, so best to head indoors until it passes. But once this does pass, you should be good. And it's not currently severe. Julie says, playing with my anemometer. Those are fun to play with. Anemometers measure wind speed as well as dew point, wind, all that, temperature, humidity. Fun tools to have. I know many storm chasers, myself included, do have those. I'm going to let this animate here. If you guys got questions, feel free to drop them in chat. We're an open book here. We'll be live as long as there is a severe warning in the state. These storms are moving pretty fast here, so it shouldn't be a very long live stream today. But I'll be here probably watching these cells back here from the Seymour to Bedford area. They do have potential to continue to strengthen, so they may pose a risk here through the afternoon. But once these are out of the state, the risk is over. So once this storm right here moves out into Ohio and Kentucky here, we'll see how these look back to the west and make a decision from there. But if we have to jump off, jump back on, we'll have to do that. As it sits, rising sun. If you guys, Christy, if you're still watching this, probably getting some more hail right now. Wouldn't be shocked if it's a bit larger than pea size, actually. It looks like a pretty good hail core there going over the rising sun area. Wouldn't be shocked if we have a dimes, nickels, even a quarter in there. Wouldn't be shocked at all. Hail tracker there, a little bit lagging behind on the tracker today, but it does show a very decent hail core. In fact, let me see if I can't switch this over here to a different radar to get a better idea of what the hail's doing. Let's see if I can't switch this over. Cool, I can. Let's zoom in here. Let's switch this over here. VIL, there we go. Yeah, rising sun basically getting the bulk of this. Radar indicating half-inch hail right around dime to nickel size is what radar is indicating here. And that is basically right over the rising sun area, about to push into Kentucky here within the next 5 minutes. Yeah, both radars, the one from Indianapolis and also the one here from Wilmington, Ohio, picking up on that hail core here. We're going to keep it right here on the Wilmington, Ohio radar. It's a lower beam height. And in Cincinnati right now, a decent looking storm. We call it a little bit of a bow echo here. Usually bow echoes like this do indicate there's wind involved, but with the radar here currently, the velocity on your screen, we're looking for brighter green colors here for stronger winds. We're not seeing that currently. So I would suggest the wind is a secondary threat next to any large hail that may fall with this storm. We also have the airport radar with a much lower beam height to the ground. So that also gives us a better idea. And again, we're not seeing anything along this leading edge here in this case, looking for bright red colors, we're not seeing it. We are seeing some brighter greens, though, coming into the rising sun area. 30 to 40 mile per hour winds here, potentially, along the leading edge of this line as it pushes into Kentucky. New scan there. The gust front looks to be in Kentucky now. We're about to cross the border. So luckily not going to be Indiana's case here, but Boone County, Kentucky, and then the South Cincinnati Metro. If you guys have friends or family, you're happy to follow us here from those areas, you guys would be up next for this storm, which does appear to have hail and a secondary threat of some gusty winds. But as of right now, not really seeing anything that suggests severe winds. Also, radar indicating hail on the southern cell is over 1 inch in diameter. Again, not our concern for Indiana. But this cell here, just South Independence, moving toward the Butler, Kentucky, and eventually back into Ohio here, towards the Clermont area, Clermont County area. You guys are going to have a potential larger hailstone or two fallen. The good news, though, is this storm, that is the strongest storm, apparently as of current time, is pushing into Kentucky, so we're going to say bye to that storm. Indiana no longer in a threat there, but we do have that threat here for these storms back off to our west, and they are forming quite nicely here across Jennings, Jackson, and Lawrence counties. Nothing that looks strong or severe just yet, but if we animate the radar here, you can tell they're kind of starting to develop and get a little bit darker reds on them, better updrafts on these as well. So we'll watch these. They potentially may be another severe storm or two through the afternoon here for the very far extreme south and east corner of the state. These are moving east here at about 40 to 50 plus miles per hour, so they'll pose about probably another hour, maybe 2 hours worth of risks here for the southeast corner of the state. But as of right now, that cell is moving into Kentucky. Indiana no longer has a threat for severe at this current time. We'll watch these cells off here just for a minute or two, and then we'll pop out of here once this warning gets trimmed back into Kentucky. If you're new here, we do severe coverage 24/7, 365 here. Any and all severe or tornadic warnings in the state of Indiana, we're going to be on here live covering it. So feel free to follow along, tune into us. We'll be doing this full time starting on Wednesday. We're excited for it. Paoli, Indiana here. You guys should be okay. You're on the west side of these storms. Where are you guys at? I know we're over here somewhere. You're over here somewhere. I just saw you. Good grief. There you are. Yeah, you should be fine here. These storms are moving off to your north. I would say you're fine. Yeah, that cell here over rising sun is now pushed all the way into Kentucky. That warning here that is clipping the eastern part of Ohio, Dearborn, and Switzerland County should be trimmed here momentarily, I have to assume. Caleb is taking a day off, so that is why you have me today. Usually you have Caleb leading the way here with severe coverage, but today you're stuck with me. Caleb was actually up in the northern half of Michigan helping with recovery efforts from the ice storm up there almost 2.5 weeks ago. So he gets a day off. He'll be back at things probably on Wednesday, so you'll see him back in action here soon. Deborah says, the lightning was pretty wicked. It sure scared me. Yeah, there's a lot of lightning with these storms today. Where are you at, Deborah, if you don't mind me asking? General area is okay. County is okay as well. But yeah, lightning is definitely technically, lightning is not a severe threat, but it is hazardous nonetheless. It can strike you. They always say when thunder roars, go indoors. So If you guys got videos, pictures of any damage, lightning, storm related, anything really weather related, feel free to send us a message or drop a comment on the page. Always love to look through you guys' content. Obviously, if you can just do so safely, don't go outside in the middle of a thunderstorm and be like, hey, look at this. You know, don't do that. Make sure you're safe if you can do so. Also want to mention here, not Indiana related, but a new severe warning coming in here for what appears to be, there's no box on my screen. There it is. Pendleton, Bracken, Brown, and Clermont counties, Kentucky, Indiana here. That's where that storm we pointed out about 5 minutes ago that had a larger hill core on it. So luckily, this is no longer Indiana's concern. But that warning remains in effect, and there's also a strengthening cell or two back here. We're just going to stay live at this point. We're going to stay live. These storms are moving pretty fast. So about a half hour, so I'd expect these to either A, go severe, or B, be out of the state. So we'll just kind of hang out here. We'll track these storms as they push eastward toward the Kentucky-Ohio border. Hopefully they weaken. If they do, we can hop out of here. But these appear to be strengthening back here as they move past Seymour and North Vernon here. So same areas impacted once again. Versailles, Milan, Pleasant area here in the Ohio, Dearborn, Ripley, Jefferson, Switzerland, and Jennings County areas. You can tell with the updraft tracker, when you have the yellow, especially red and whites on this map here in the center here just south of Jennings, that is typically what you want to look for with a strengthening thunderstorm. These are updrafts. When they're weaker in nature, they'll have more of a blue or green tint. But when they're like yellow, orange, red, white color, that's how you know the updraft is still going strong in the storm. That tells me the storm's going to continue to strengthen here as it pushes through Jennings County, eventually into Ripley County here. Would expect them to trim that warning back into Kentucky and Ohio anytime. That storm has now exited the state of Indiana. We live here tracking these cells until they're out of the state. Coming down hard in Lubbock. Thank you, Sydney, for that report. But yeah, for right now, there's really not much of any risk here for severe at this current time. Maybe some pea-sized sail for you, but overall, not much of a severe concern yet, at least. But it is strengthening. Wouldn't be shocked if it goes severe when it gets past you. Got a report out of the Rising Sun area, surprise, surprise, of nickel-size hail. The report says law enforcement confirmed as of 10 minutes ago. So not surprising that cell moved over. Nickel size is not severe, but is basically a step below quarter or 1 inch in diameter or larger is your severe criteria. So that is at least good news that the Rising Sun area did not take severe hail. Yeah, Julie, there is an Ohio County near Ohio. There's also a couple areas, Indiana County. There's a lot of different state counties that are close to borders. It's kind of crazy. The crazy thing about the Ohio County is it borders Kentucky, does not border Ohio directly. Got some cyclone port cams here in the Warren County, Ohio area. Just want to check out real quick. Not much going on out there besides just some rain. And I still expect them to trim this warning back here. The yellow box needs to be trimmed up here. We'll expect that to happen any minute as they trim these warnings. They typically move them with the storms. Yeah, now Lovett there. I can see Sydney. Lovett definitely getting probably some small hail, honestly. But still, check the velocity out on this. I doubt we're going to see anything concerning. Yeah, not really. How about hail tracker on it? Yeah, not really much of anything there. I kick back here. I'm going to pop myself off the screen and back on in a smaller box in the top corner. There we go. A better view of the radar there for you guys. Yeah, based on how that storm is looking, I'm looking at the products here behind the scenes. Looking at the updraft, looking at the tracker on it, it appears to be continue to strengthen here as it pushes into Jefferson and Ripley counties. So this storm will likely warrant of a statement or perhaps a warning here in the next couple of 10, 15 minutes or so. Again, that's your updraft tracker on your screen. And that's just your general radar. And they did trim back that warning now, so now we just have statements in effect here in the state of Indiana. So currently, all clear, no warnings in effect, but judging by this storm over here, back toward North Vernon, we'll have a cell to watch here, which we're going to stay live for. No sense for me to hop off and then have to go live, 15 minutes later as the storm is about to push into Kentucky. So I might as well just stay live for 20 more minutes and just cover it until it's out of the state. New scan coming in here. Now Lovett's on the back end of that. Looks like the hail core is still on the weaker side of things. Let's go ahead and track the other radar here. This one has a better look at the hail tracker. And is that even updated? There's really nothing here on the latest VIL, which is vertically integrated liquid. Again, it's a hail tracker measuring the droplets of water in the atmosphere. Anything larger would show up over here, for example. That's going to be your larger hail, and especially yellows, golds, and reds and whites. But back here in Jennings County, and then there's just not much happening there. So at this point in time, that cell is not currently dropping large hail, which is good news. Let's check on what is our storm motion on this today. I can set my vector here. Give me 1 second. 266 over 57. These storms are moving today. 2 over 57. That is crazy. Typical storms here in the Midwest, Indiana included, usually have storm speeds around 30 to about 45 or so miles an hour. But it's not uncommon we get these storms that just like to fly 50, 60, even 70 miles per hour. Remember back like 4 or 5 years ago, I was chasing Indiana. I had a storm that was going 90 miles an hour. Couldn't keep up with it. There was no way I'm driving that fast just to chase a storm. So storms can really haul here in the state of Indiana. We'll see what they do with the cell. Current times on your screen, 4:02 p.m. Eastern. Went live here about about half hour ago. We had a severe warning issued for the very far eastern parts of Dearborn, Ohio, and Switzerland counties. That has since been expired. But we're going to stay live here as we do have other storms that are at least trying to develop here back to the west. And our policy is to be live for any and all severe weather in the state. So I don't want to pop out and pop back on if this one happens to go warned in the next 20 or so minutes. So we're just going to keep it live here. Feel free to ask questions. Anything goes at this point. Just going to wait this out. All right, got a report in Boone County, just across the border in Kentucky. That's the cell near Rising Sun that had the nickel size hail report. We have a public report out of Boone County, just a couple miles east of the border of Indiana. It says video posted on social media of 1-inch hail. That's quarter size in diameter. And that's going to be 2 miles west of Union. So that storm here, this one over here, this storm has history of producing large hail. That report came right about here. We got numerous severe warnings for our friends over here in Ohio, as well as Kentucky. Ooh, that is a nasty looking cell. That is warned currently for ping pong ball size hail, basically on the Ohio River there on the border of Kentucky. That is insane. Oh my. That is a large hail core. What county is that in? That's going to be in Greenup as well as Scioto County. Basically right on the Ohio River. That is a insane cell. Really all these cells, take a look at all these cells. You got one here, one here, one here, all producing, or would appear to be producing, very large hail. Quarter size plus. New warning just popped in there as well, looks like. So these storms are popping off as expected for east of us. Luckily, it was not us today. Models really indicated these cells are going to pop off across the border into Ohio and Kentucky, and that's exactly what happened. We predicted, and actually we forecasted this quite well. We had a low risk for severe weather here in the very far sliver of the southeast corner of the state here, from about the Richmond area down to about Salem. So we predicted this pretty well. Models did a really good job today. Only concern that I have currently is this cell. I'll zoom into it on your screen here. This cell right here over the Jennings, Ripley, and Jefferson County line area. That is the only cell that would have any severe potential currently for the state of Indiana. The updraft there is getting really red. That is a healthy updraft. Let's check on our hail on this point. Still not much in terms of hail, though. We do have a little bit of some gustier winds here on radar here. 30 to 35 miles per hour is going to be the... whoops. That's going to be basically on the northern part of Jefferson County. We are live also over on YouTube, so feel free if you prefer to watch on YouTube. We are live simultaneously on Facebook, as well as YouTube, soon to be X/Twitter as well. It is your platform of choice, as I like to call it here. I know a lot of people like to watch on YouTube instead of Facebook. It allows a lot more freedom. I know Facebook can be pretty restricting in terms of watching live streams. So if you prefer to watch YouTube, feel free to head on over there. Same account name. Search us up. We'll be live. This blue box here is a special weather statement. What those are is basically a step below severe warnings. So severe criteria for one of these yellow boxes, a severe warning is going to be hail that's larger than a quarter or wind over 58 miles per hour. Anything below that gets a box, a blue box, which is called a special weather statement. The typical statement is going to be 30 miles per hour to 55 miles per hour in terms of wind, and hail anything from pea size to nickel size in diameter. They also sometimes issue statements when you have funnel clouds as a possibility. Sometimes in the summertime, we have what we call surface boundaries, outflow boundaries, stuff like that, that can create these little weaker funnels. Sometimes we'll see statements issued for that as well. But overall, statements are a step below severe. So no, the blue box here on your screen, Kyle, for your question, it does not mean severe weather. I am very curious, so I'm going to hop over here to that Ohio, or the Ohio cells, Kentucky cells. I am very curious what my advanced radar software is telling me the hail size is on these. What radar are we using over here? Wilmington. Okay. Let me go ahead and switch this over here to Wilmington and see what it says. Yeah, that is insane. Hail on the GR2 product, which is the radar product I'm using, it does say that this cell out here in Greenup as well as Scioto counties is 1.72 inch in diameter. That is just under golf ball size, according to radar. Doesn't mean it's actually happening, but the radar indicating that these cells are really producing some larger hailstones. The one behind it has $half size hail, 1.25 inch diameter. And up here by Campbell, just under 1 inch is what it's saying. So I'm going to check the page messenger here to see if you guys will send anything into us while we wait for this storm to clear out. What a nice day outside, minus the areas that are receiving rain and thunderstorms currently. This is a pretty nice day out there across the state. Widespread 60s and 70s out there. Julie says, absolutely gorgeous out, minus all the wasps that came out. Are there really bees out there, guys? Already? I guess I'm not surprised, but it's too early for that. It's way too early for that. I know up here I got ladybugs invading my room, so I gotta figure out how and why and put a stop to that. We are going to take the airport radar here. Yeah, this is actually a cell that looks to be a little bit more concerning in terms of the wind velocity. This is the airport radar out of the Independence, Kentucky area. Excuse me, area, and this is going to be moving east here about 55 miles per hour. But the wind here, if we zoom in here over the Haney Corner area and take the inspector tool out, we're getting upper 40s or so in terms of wind. So currently no warning. Again, warnings will be for 58 miles per hour, or at least close to that or higher. And right now these are right around 40 to 50 miles per hour moving in to Ohio and Switzerland County, as well as Dearborn County again. Currently in northern Jefferson and southern Ripley County. It'll be moving into Ohio, Dearborn, and Switzerland counties here in the next minute, about 5 minutes or so. So we're going to keep it right here on the airport radar. We're just going to keep on velocity here. Again, the green colors on this radar indicate winds that are going toward the radar. So this is moving toward the radar. Radar's over here, circled, X'd, moving this way. And the reds are moving away from the radar. So see how that kind of works? So we have winds moving toward the radar here at roughly 40 to 50 miles per hour over the Canaan, Pleasant, and Cross Plains area. New scan coming in here. The good thing about airport radars as well is they update every 1 or 2 minutes. So consistent scans here as this moves toward the Kentucky-Ohio state line. No warning currently on this, but if anything's going to be warned for anything in the state currently, it's going to be this cell and probably going to be for wind. Nice, healthy looking cell here. Places the storm is heading for places like Dillsboro, Friendship, Cross Plains, Pleasant, East Enterprise, Jacksonville along State Route 129, Wilmington, Indiana, not Ohio, Wilmington, Indiana, Sparta, any place between those, Elrod, Milton, Blue, Bear Branch, Cofield Corner, Rising Sun again. A 1-2-3 punch there for you guys in Rising Sun potentially. Then Patriot as well. This is a healthy looking cell here. No warning on it currently, but winds are increasing. Wouldn't be shocked to see a warning issued here for, again, Dearborn, Ohio, and Switzerland counties. We said this morning in our forecast the extreme sliver of Indiana by the Kentucky-Ohio border, so we couldn't really have forecasted that much better. I got a question here. What about the cell behind it? Let's go ahead and take a look back there real quick while we have a minute. These storms are not doing too much at the current moment. There's some rain showers. I don't even see lightning with these cells, actually. So that's good news at this current moment. Not seeing much of anything. Let's check out the Indianapolis radar. Yeah, not really seeing too much of anything to be concerned about with those at this time. I would say we need to keep an eye on this cell here moving in toward the Kentucky border. Yeah, I got some pockets here of perhaps 50 plus now. 49.21. So we're getting close to 50. What about up here? 47 or so. And that's about what we're topping out at. So we're still below severe criteria. But just not quite getting there at this time. We'll see if it does. Oh, I do have airport radar on that. That's cool. Not velocity, though. Got it. Yeah, Paoli over here. We have a cold front kind of swinging through the state here. We can kind of see the line of it. So if anything's going to hit you, it's going to either go just to your north or perhaps sprinkle there, unless what happens over here develops further. So as of right now, Paoli, you just going to have some sprinkles unless something develops there. No statements in effect here anymore for the state of Indiana. This one I would suggest is deserving of a statement here for wind, as those green colors there indicate the winds are, we'll say moderate impact, not severe, but there'll be enough to blow your trash cans down the road if they're not secured. Aaron says, these clouds just don't look right. And that's probably, Aaron, I have to guess, because you're on the cold front there, I would have to guess that that is because you're close in proximity to the cold front. A lot of turbulence going on along the front. So that's probably why you see a little bit weirder clouds. At the current moment, there is nothing that suggests that it's going to be severe. At least for Paoli. Yeah, this cell over here, moving in toward the Kentucky border, has a lot of lightning with it. Perhaps some small pea to dime sized hail. But I think the concern with this one is going to be more on the wind side. And these winds continue to look just under severe criteria here. Dillsboro about to be impacted by these. East Enterprise, Jacksonville, Erin, Bear Branch, Blue, Bascom Corner, Bennington, Moorfield, Mount Sterling, Long Run. Those general areas over toward Patriot and Rising Sun eventually, next by 10 minutes or so. Having a threat here for some gusty winds. Places included within this, not warning, but with terms of impact times, moving at 50 to 55 miles per hour, we have Bear Branch in 1 minute, East Enterprise in 7, Dillsboro in 5 to 7 minutes, Mount Sterling in 10 minutes, Rising Sun in 13 minutes, Florence in 14 minutes. I think we're out of the state here. Napoleon 21, Burlington 22 minutes. So, we'll be out of the state here in about 10 or 15 minutes. I think at that point, we'll be good to wrap up coverage as long as it's not warned and as long as the storm behind it, back over here, we'll take a look at this one more time, is not doing much anything, which it could be trying to, but not really. I'm not sure if it's trying to organize here. Wouldn't be shocked to see a couple storms try to go up there. So, after this one exits the state, we'll keep an eye on the radar back to the west and see how it looks. Yeah, this is probably getting close to a warning criteria here. A lot of, I got 51 now on the inspector tool there. So we're getting closer and closer into a little bit wider area of heavier winds here. Wouldn't be shocked to get a warning on this. storm is exiting Ripley County as well as Jefferson County. It is now in Dearborn, Ohio, and Switzerland counties. Once again, for the third time today. And kind of going back here to the west as well, I wouldn't be shocked to have another round with that cell developing over here in Jackson County moving your way. So maybe 4 rounds of storms today for you guys over on the Kentucky border. What's up, Toby? Yeah, I have to say, this is looking, more and more concerning here for severe winds. We're solidly in the 50s now. This 53, 54 miles an hour now on radar. So this is, it's not there on radar just yet, but the fact we're getting close to 55 miles per hour here, a few thousand feet off the ground, means that we're probably getting close, if not experiencing severe winds. And I apologize if you guys can hear that chair. That is obnoxious. I have tried oiling it, WD-40ing it. I have tried everything to get this chair not to squeak, and it's just impossible. We're going to take it, we're just going to zoom in here, keep on the wind velocity here. So you're seeing winds in green going toward the radar, and winds in red going away from the radar. And the radar positioning is over here. So anything red going away, anything green going toward. Pocket of heavier winds located over Milton and Hartford areas. It's going to be right on the county line of Dearborn and Ohio. Buffalo heading your way, Camp Shore, Bellevue, Mickville, Rising Sun. Again, State Route 56. What other roads are here? We got Salem Ridge Road, Hartford Pike Road, all within this area. Pocket of perhaps damaging winds now moving your direction. No warning on it, but winds here on radar, the airport radar, are showing winds upwards of 50 miles per hour possible. Cross your fingers. Hope it's not reaching the ground, because it is a few thousand feet in the atmosphere here. Probably closer to 1,000 at this point in terms of its beam height. In fact, I can probably tell you that, how far off the ground that is. Actually, no. We are 388 feet off the ground. These winds are essentially a football field off the ground, which is fairly low. So this is likely either severe winds or very close to severe winds occurring with this particular cell. Zooming out here, we have very distinct looking cell here. Very healthy line pushing in toward Kentucky. So no warning on it. I'm not going to say it needs one, because it's not hitting that criteria just yet on radar, but it is very close. At very least, a statement could suffice. Latest scan also appears to have weakened it just a tad bit, now getting mid 40s, upper 40s on the latest scan, but still a statement can be issued for 30 miles per hour, so it's still well above what a statement could use. Take a look back here to the west. And that cell, it appears to be in Jackson County, moving into Jennings County, is beginning to develop as well. So we'll have to watch that one too. I'm not sure if I'll stay live for it, but we'll have to watch it behind the scenes if we do hop off. This one could easily get a statement on it, but it does not have anything currently. Yeah, Rising Sun area. If you live there, we had a few people there commenting on the stream earlier. You guys are likely about to experience or are experiencing some heavier winds here moving into your area. There is a statement at long last. This is going to be wind gusts up to 45 miles per hour and penny-size hail. So they opted for a statement instead of a warning. Unsure why they went 45, not 50 or 55, because these winds are quite strong, only a few hundred feet off the ground. But 45 mile per hour winds, and what was nickel size hail, did I say? Penny size hail, pennies. So 45 in pennies. I will say as well, before I pan over to all sorts of different stuff, I'll just go ahead and switch screens here. The cell, excuse me, the cell behind this, moving into Jennings County, and eventually Jefferson County here, is developing and strengthening. I'll have to watch that as well. Currently no warning on it. The winds don't look too bad on it, and the hail tracker is beginning to light up just a bit. So we'll have to watch that close. Right now, no warnings in effect, just some statements. And lo and behold, the counties included in that statement is Dearborn, Ohio, and Switzerland. Again, Rising Sun, you guys have a pocket of likely strong to damaging winds moving into town. 51 here on radar, moving directly into Rising Sun. So damaging winds technically starts at 58 miles per hour or higher. Although when you get close, you still have downed trees, branches, stuff like that. It can still make an impact. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. This is about to move into Kentucky, so it will not be our issue soon. But for right now, it is still in Indiana. And I bet I can probably take my other screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about. There you go. Rising Sun there. The brighter green colors indicating the heavier winds are moving in to town. And we're seeing anything from 45 to low 50s here, all the way up to Buffalo, Camp Shore, Bellevue, Mickville, and Rising Sun. No warning on this. The winds appear to be just below severe criteria. Been live here going on 1 hour now. Sage, the Nova in chat here says, what do you think about Friday's weather? And the answer to that is a good question, number one, Sage. But the answer to that is we're not going to know these specific details like hazards and timing and exact areas until probably Wednesday. But I will say this, the models currently, they do have many different fail modes. What I mean by that is there's a lot of things that could go wrong in terms of materializing a severe threat. So right now, the confidence on a scale of 1 to 10, probably a 3 or 4 for us. In terms of the overall hazards and stuff, I do think it's a large hail and wind risk at very least. But there's still a lot of things like capping stuff, which can basically put a cap on the atmosphere. Think of a cap as basically a limit to storms. It can only do so much. So we have a couple concerns for that, but we're still a few days out. Let's let it evolve. By the time we get to Wednesday, I'll have a much better idea in terms of that. But it does intrigue me, especially for northern Indiana and perhaps the Illinois and then West Michigan area. This area of strong winds is now over Rising Sun, over moving out of Camp Shore, moving into Kentucky, Bellevue, McVille, Waterloo, and Commissionary Corner. Commissary Corner? Is that what it is? No, there's no N in it. So that is about to be out of the state with no warning, which is good news. Zooming out, going back over here to the west. Where's the radar? There's a radar. This is going to be the new cell to watch. I don't know if I want to stay live for this or hop out, take a brief break, and then pop back on in the event of another warning. This one didn't go warned, so I'm not sure they're going to warn this one. No problem, Sage. Krista in Indianapolis, yeah, no risk for you up there today. You are all clear. Any threat for severe is going to be down here further south and east. Going back here to any of these cells, Paoli, just some sprinkles for you as expected. The only thing that's really blossoming right now is this cell just to the east of Seymour. Mitchell, Paoli, Marengo, your general area, just some sprinkles. These could develop into storms, but as of right now, not looking imminent. I think what we're going to do here, guys, is I check this over here real quick. Just want to make sure we're not missing anything before we do hop out. But the only thing that would concern me for anything severe is going to be this cell right here. Right now does not appear to be close to severe. Wouldn't be shocked if it does as it moves toward the state line. But I think we're going to end it here just because we're not really seeing anything that's getting warned here. In fact, as the storm moves closer and closer to that radar, the winds are getting weaker and weaker, which is good news. So I do believe we may have escaped most, if not all, the severe, minus what's happening back here just south of the North Vernon area heading toward Lancaster. We'll watch that, but in terms of severe, I do not think anything is imminent. So we're going to watch it. If it does happen to go severe, probably our luck it will. We'll hop back on. But for right now, I believe we are going to pop out of here. So you guys enjoy your day. And in terms of the rest of the state, you guys are all clear. If you live in South and East Indiana here, ahead of this storm or these showers currently, so anywhere basically, if I drew a box, anywhere south of Seymour, east of Bedford, over to the county line or state line of Kentucky, you guys, I would say, be on low alert, I guess, not a very high alert, but low alert for anything that could be heading your way. The only thing concerning currently is the cell heading in toward Lancaster. So, no severe. We're going to pop out of here. You guys enjoy your afternoon, and hopefully we will see you guys again, not tonight, but sometime in the future for more coverage or a briefing here at IWO and ISCN. You guys enjoy your afternoon.